My name is Kristi Millhiser. I am with Inspire Training Institute, and for the last 15 plus years, I've been fortunate enough to spend my time in the world of organizational development and training and development. I think understanding Generation Y is important for a couple of reasons. The first reason is when you look at their sheer numbers. As a generation, they're 87 million strong, making them the largest generation in recent history. So just the sheer volume of Gen Ys entering the workforce should make them an attractive generation to organizations. Two, I think it's important to understand generational diversity because it just gives us another frame of reference as we look at the needs of what the workforce is looking for from their employers and what they can bring to the table for us as employers. Gen Y babies were born at a time where it was really cool to be a kid again. You saw baby on board signs in cars as people drove down the road. You saw a new emphasis in social movement about parenting and making sure that those parents were there for their children. A lot of that comes from the previous generation, Gen X, being noted as the most neglected generation in history. So those parents took a look back and said, I don't want to be that type of parent to my children. So what happened instead is we saw a little bit of a pendulum switch where parenting took on a new role. The baby on board signs came back. Parents started to be more active, more engaged in the life of their Gen Y children. Along with that, we saw Gen Y children having a very planned, very busy life. Soccer one night, ballet another night, homework here, events here, where there was so much structure and schedule that as they're coming into the workforce today, there's a certain expectation that they have of their employer to have that same structure and setup that they grew up used to that was created for them by their parents. From a technology standpoint, when you think about the technology literacy that they have and wanting cutting-edge technology, there's also the concern within the workplace of how does all that dependence on technology affect social interaction, conflict resolution, the ability to work in teams. And Gen Y comes to the table with a lot of skill sets, and yet there are those few things where it is going to take a leader and a manager and an organization to really work with Gen Y to make sure that they have what they need in order to feel connected, part of the team, and perform at their best level. Because there may be challenges there when it comes to some of those types of interactions. You can't lead a Gen Y like you would lead a Gen Xer. It just isn't going to work. When you look at clashes in the workforce, the clash between Gen X and Gen Y is significant. Gen X are very independent. Their idea of teamwork is coming together to figure out a project and then leaving, doing their own pieces and coming back. Teamwork for Gen Y is we're all in a room together, we're all going to collaborate together, and we're all going to figure out the solution together. So specifically with those two generations, if you try to use the same approach, it's not going to satisfy one of the two. So it's marrying up the needs of all of the generations together to have the best results in the workplace. 87 million Gen Y compared to 51 million Xers and 75 million baby boomers. Their sheer volume makes them a generation we have to take note of. When we think about retention of Gen Y, it is going to be absolutely critical for organizations to maintain that talent. Out of the gate, one of the uphill battles we're all going to face is that when you talk to Gen X about what long-term employment looks like, they will tell you that 1 to 3 years is long-term employment. So gone are the days where employees look at 30, 40, 50 years as long-term employment. Gen Y is 1 to 3 years. So attracting them is important, but then retaining them past that 1 to 3 year time frame is going to be really important for organizations. And when you look at their sheer numbers, when you look at the number of baby boomers leaving organizations, moving into retirement, without Gen Y, we don't have enough employees. We won't have the talent that we need in order to keep our organizations moving forward. We have to have them. They're a critical part of the next phase of where our businesses go, where the economy goes, and where success lies.